What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Health and Wellness Summit. I am your host, Courtney Miracle, and I have Abby Rosenblum with me today. Abby is a matchmaker, so she's going to tell us all about matchmaking, love, and what to look for. So, Abby, welcome. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. This is going to
Oh,
be fun.
I know, so fun. Okay, so kind of tell us maybe how you got into this and how you kind of went down this path.
Yeah, so I started matchmaking really for fun and to solve my own problems and my friends' problems. I was a serial dater on every dating app, meeting a different person every day of the week and just losing track of these people and not making authentic connections really with anyone. I did eventually meet my fiance during that saga. But, during that time, I just thought there has to be a better and more authentic way to meet people. And matchmaking came about. So I started with friends of friends and introducing them. And once the website was up, it was truly a passion project and has taken off into a full-time job from there.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So explain to me. I don't really know. I've been married for 10 years. I don't really know what matchmaking is or how it works. So can you explain to us like what is the difference with matchmaking and how does it work?
Yeah. So matchmaking, working with me is, a really personalized experience. It's a more authentic and intentional way to meet someone. And it just really is totally opposite of a dating app. I know right now, especially during the pandemic, everything has gone virtual. We're all on our phones 24/7, and dating apps are the main way that single people are meeting.
Yeah.
I've actually seen a surge of people reaching out for matchmaking during this time because people just want connection. So, where a dating app has a photo and some bullet points, and you're really leaving it up to an algorithm with matchmaking, you're leaving it up to a person who knows you, your dreams, hopes, goals, passions, and wants to bring you together and who is invested in you journey to find love.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. So walk us through kind of what does it look like when someone, says, okay, I'm going to work with you. What does that process look like? How do you go through it with them? Kind of give us the tips and tricks of what that looks like.
Yeah, of course. So working with me starts with, of course, wanting to find a serious relationship. That is requirement number one. Then we will chat for about an hour, hour and a half, really however long it takes for us to both really get to know each other. So I, ask simple questions like, how old are you? How tall are you? What age range do you want to date? We could talk about religion, politics, your sex life, your childhood, all the things so that I can really make sure that I have great people to set that person up with or that I can find people. So starts with the interview. I do a background check as well. I do a couple personality tests for people to take just so I have even more amazing info on them. And then they can kind of decide, how do they want to work with me? Do they want me to be their matchmaker, to find them people to go on dates with in a 6 month or 1 year period? I'll set them up on as many dates as we agree to, also help them feel confident. We may do a makeover, we may have haircuts, we may have a personal trainer, we may do dating coaching, whatever it takes to make people feel confident. That's what I want to do. And of course, to connect them with great people. People also are in my database, in my pool of amazing singles, and those people get to come to events. They're one of my go-tos for dates. And I also do help those people too with some online profiles. So there's a lot going on, but really kind of whatever you need when it comes to dating, I'd like to think that I have a resource for it or a person that you can meet to make it all easier.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Well, and like you said, it's about the confidence and the connection and not just like, hey, there's a picture. So I love that. I love that. So give us some of maybe your top tips for dating or the things that you see go really wrong or kind of share with us some knowledge of what's happening in the dating world right now.
Yeah, there is a lot going on in the dating world right now. Like we are just bombarded all day by technology and work emails and people in the dating world, we're kind of also bombarded by people that maybe aren't a great connection for us. So, one of the things I've really noticed is kind of this whole grass is always greener mentality. Because there are so many people at our fingertips, we might dismiss someone really great that is right in front of us. So I really try to help people be present, get to know this person in front of you. And, I talked about being more intentional. I actually have everyone set an intention before a date. So, and that cannot be to find your soulmate or to
Right.
find the one. or for sparks to fly, it has to be something simple, like to meet someone new, to laugh, to make someone else laugh. So I think that with the huge dating pool, one of the issues I see is people not being able to be present and not seeing the great person that is in front of them is one of the huge things. And I think the other thing is people just feeling like they have to date or
Mm,
they can't take a break. Taking a break from dating is really great.
yeah.
Burnout happens in any place in our lives, and dating especially. But if we're not consistently dating, people think they're doing something wrong. And I'm here to tell you, you are not doing something wrong. You are doing very, very right, and making sure that you put your best self out there and you're not burnt out when you meet someone.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I think, I mean, this is just my personal experience. So I was married. I got married really young, not the best plan. Realized that wasn't really where I needed to go. And then when I was single, I remember I was actually at church and the pastor was like, run your race, be on your race, and then look around and see who's on your race. And like, I never forgot that. And then not long after that, I met my husband. But I think taking a break and getting to know yourself, I'm sure you help people with that of like, what do you really want? So I know you said you have an exercise of trying to figure out what really do you want in your life. Can you walk us through that?
Yeah. So I always ask people when I'm meeting with them what their values are. And sometimes people know, sometimes people don't know. You probably run into this too. So, if people are kind of confused on that or don't really know, I'm like, okay, here's some homework. So I have people, write down all the things they really enjoy and write down all the qualities about themselves they really enjoy.
Yeah.
And then write down all the things in a partner you really want. Then you can kind of see, are these lists matching up? If they're
Right.
not, that's a major red flag because we want your values to match up with your partner. That's just going to be like, whew.
Yeah.
If your interests are different, I definitely do not care. People put way too much pressure on I ski, so my partner has to ski, or I hike 14ers, so my partner has to hike 14ers. Give that up and please just find a friend,
Yeah.
for Pete's sake. Um, Especially in Colorado. I know we're both here right now. That is a huge thing that I run into. I think values are way more important. Of course, you have to have physical attraction, you have to have that connection. But when you have those shared values, it's so much easier to form a connection. You will be compatible, and maybe the physical attraction can grow, but hopefully it's there right off the bat.
Yeah, I love that. Well, and activities like you can teach someone to hike, you can teach someone to ski, right? Or if I like, yeah, I think that's interesting. I do this, so they have to do XYZ. I love that. So, what are some other I know you had talked about ghosting, right? Like don't ghost. So can you talk a little bit about that and what you teach your clients?
Totally. So I have one rule in my business, no ghosting. And if you don't know what ghosting is, it's when you are communicating with someone, or maybe you met up with someone multiple times or one time, and then you just cease all communication. So that is ghosting.
Right.
And it happens a lot because we hide behind our devices. There are plenty more people out there. So we're like, okay, well, I won't ever see that person again. I'll just go on to the next one. So if anyone ghosts in my system, they are kicked out. Everyone signs a contract from the get-go. They cannot ghost their person they went on a date with or me. Sometimes people ghost me, and that just blows my mind. Um, we were talking about this earlier that people will set up meetings and then just not show up. It happens in a professional setting
Yeah.
just as much as it does in a romantic one.
Yeah.
So I definitely is my personal mission to stop ghosting and to really just have people be open and honest with each other. After a first date, I will handle the communication of, hey, they were feeling it, you were feeling it, go forth and conquer on the second date. Or
Yeah.
maybe, she wasn't really feeling it, we'll pass on the second date. But beyond that, it is up to them. They need to communicate. I'm here to be a resource to help them do that. But I think it's a really important skill to be upfront. And if there's a piece of feedback that I could provide to a dater and it could totally change how they connect with the next person, I am 100% going to do that.
Yeah, I love that. And that's so true, right? Like communication, it's funny. We have 6 C's in our business and connection is one of them. Communication is one of them. It's like I don't care who you are in this world if you can't communicate and have hard conversations, right? Of hey, like I just wasn't feeling it. You need to get better at that in life, my opinion, because you're going to come in contact with these hard conversations, whether it's dating or business or whatever. So like learning how to communicate. I love that. And I love that you're like, I'll help you. And you get to do this. So let's say this is just pure curiosity. Somebody meets and they're going on a couple dates. Then like what happens if say they said they were going to work with you for 6 months and 3 months and they find, the one or what they think is the one? What happens at that point?
So that's our goal. I want to become obsolete. I don't
Yeah.
want you to need me. I don't want return customers. It's a very weird business.
Yeah.
So, just from a business standpoint, though, if let's say we work for 6 months, the first date is amazing, and they don't need me, great. You can freeze your membership for up to 6 months, and if you don't ever come back and need me, great. And people are always like, well, can I freeze my payments? And I'm like, no, because if this is your person, then you probably pay me way more than you already did. So,
Yeah. You're like, we are outcome based, and the faster I can get your outcome, the better, right?
yeah. And everyone finds their person in a different way, in a different time. I have people who find them on the second date. I have people who worked with me for 2 years and found their person. So it really is about being open in your heart, in your head, and having patience with yourself so that you can find the right person, not just a person.
Right. I love it. I love it. And I know you said you also work with astrology a little bit. Can you explain how you use that and what you do with it?
Yeah, so astrology has become a part of my business, which has
Okay.
been really cool to see. I connected with an astrologist who I now work with on a weekly basis to help my clients.
Okay.
Her name is Nadia Shelsky, and she is cards and astrology is her business.
Okay.
So she has something that she studies called the love cards. So
Okay.
basically, how different birthdays are compatible with one another. And we just did a whole 2 night workshop on this that was mind blowing for
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
So, we will do connections with people's birthdays before we set them up, kind of talk about what it might look like. And it is pretty crazy how accurate it can be. Of course, there are exceptions to everything, but it's a really fun additional thing to offer to my clients. Of course, not everyone is into that, but it's becoming a bigger and bigger thing with
Yeah.
dating.
Yeah. I love it. Well, and I think like you talked about with personality tests and as as people date, I think I know when I was dating, you get to know yourself really well. And like the more you know about your own astrology and your own personality test, and the more you know yourself, the easier it is to start really connecting with other people. So you're probably doing a lot of personal development with your clients, I would assume, as much as dating. So that's so cool. So I know you said you offer some stuff in your database. Are those live events yet? Or are they all still online?
Yeah, so right now it's a mix of in person and virtual events. So every month I have a database date night to create a sense of community in the database. There's about 500 people in there. And of course, not all 500 come to every
Yeah.
Zoom. That would be a little bit crazy with those breakout rooms.
Yeah.
But that has been a really great way to connect people too. And we've had dates come out of pretty much every one of those. But the
Nice.
events can be anything from a group workout to a brunch to a happy hour to speed dating to meditation to a trivia night. Um, Pretty much anything and everything.
Nice. Nice. And that's just I love that too. Of just like, okay, we know you're single, we know you're looking, but there's no pressure, right? There's this, not this, I have to make this person work. And yeah, so cool. Anything else you want to share about matchmaking or tips for dating or any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, if you are on dating apps and watching this right now and you're just so tired of it, I just want you to know there is another way. And even if you don't end up signing up with me, there are so many matchmakers all over the country I'd be happy to connect you with. And I think it's so important that everyone knows there is hope. If you are single, you will find your person. And when you really do become content with being single, and don't come from a place of desperation to find your person, that is when that person's going to come along and it's going to blow your mind. So, chat with me, send me an email, call me, whatever's easiest. I'm sure we'll provide all my contact info. And I would love to, have you at an event, chat with you, set you up on some dates, or just hear your dating problems and you can vent and we can figure out where to go from there.
I love it. I love it. So what is the easiest way to get a hold of you? Facebook, Instagram, website? Where should they go to find you?
Yeah, honestly, you should just text me or call me. So my number is 303-842-4762. Text me, call me, whatever you want. That thing is always in my hand. Well, not right now, but that is the easiest way. But of course, you can also follow me on Instagram. I am Modern Yenta on Instagram, Yenta, which is Yiddish for matchmaker.
Okay.
And my business is the Social Modern Matchmaking. So the Social MM on Instagram as well.
I love it. Oh my gosh, so good. So you guys, if you're in Denver, if you're not in Denver and you want to chat with Abby, you reach out. But if you're in Colorado, she is amazing. So reach out to her. Abby, thank you so much for being here, and we will chat soon.
Thanks, Courtney.